All right, so this is our patient, a young man, 26-year-old, who came to our dental office in Brazil, Angra. And due to the nature of his profession, he wanted a treatment option that was quick and effective. His main complaint was a dissatisfaction with the harmony of his smile, and he also complained about the fractures of the incisal edges and the dark shades. So as the patient was talking to us, we mentioned the DSDapp, which is this tool that helps doctors and patients visualize their potential new smile by using facial analysis and digital smile design. He was interested, so we took a frontal facial smile picture of the patient to simulate a facially driven motivational smile using DSDapp. In this way, the patient could also participate in the smile design process and also give us an idea on what exactly he wants for his smile, what is beautiful for him, according to him. And of course, we set some limitations here and there, but we could have him as the co-designer of his own smile, which engaged him in the process from day one. So once we took the frontal facial picture, in the app, the artificial intelligence automatically calibrated the patient's picture and analyzed the facial structure to help us create a smile that was harmonic with the face. Um, the app gave us a suggestion on the smile frame according to the facial analysis. As you see, we can always make our own adjustments in length proportions. In the app, we use the red proportion, which is the recurring aesthetic dental proportion. Once we set that, then we select the smile design, which comes from natural smile donor library that we have here in the app. In this case, we selected John Hutso F7, and it was superimposed on a patient's picture. One of the greatest things about the app is that you can always make your own adjustments and customize that smile to that specific patient. And you can always have the patient to be the co-designer of that smile. So by doing that, the app allowed me to make those teeth a little longer on the laterals, for example, and a few minor changes here and there according to the patient's wishes. So the process of the simple smile simulation did not take any longer than 5 minutes to create it. And once it was done on this part, we then select a shade that would satisfy the patient. I try to go as close as possible to the A1 shade. Then I applied that tool, that is the stamp tool. So in the stamp tool, I basically can delete anything that I don't want to be shown. So once we finished, we showed the smile simulation case presentation with the before and after photo using the DSDapp slider to give the patient an idea on how his new smile could look like. The smile simulation was very appreciated, and the patient saw automatically the difference of his new potential smile and approved the initial smile simulation. So to initiate a backward treatment plan, we took him to the clinical room. We did a full extra and intraoral examination, took full mouth restorations, where there were no cavities and no evidence of any endodontics or periodontal pathology. What we found was attritions involving enamel and dentin tissues at the incisal edges of the maxillary and mandibular anterior teeth due to a possible bruxism problem. We also checked his TMJ, but there were no signs or symptoms of any disorder. The buccal cusp edges of premolars were also slightly outwards, giving a disharmony in the buccal corridor. So our goal was to bring harmony to his smile by bringing the buccal edges slightly inwards and slightly increase the length of his upper left teeth and slightly decrease the length of his right upper teeth. The first option we gave him was an ortho treatment followed by cosmetic procedures. However, it wasn't what the patient wanted, as he needed a quick and affordable smile makeover due to the nature of his profession. So our second option was to offer him 10 minimally invasive composite veneers in the upper arch and adjustments in the lower anterior teeth, also using composite restorations, which would give him the same smile he helped us design in the DSDapp's first smile simulation. The patient approved the second treatment plan. So in order to start the 3D design process using 10 minimally invasive composite veneers, I needed to complete the GSD pictures and video protocol. So that's what we did. We took the frontal rested, frontal smiling, profile rested, profile smiling, 12 o'clock pictures, a video interview, in order to start with the 3D design process. To create the 3D design project in the DSDapp, we used 3 projects based on the smile simulation and clinical exams widget in the patient. So you see here, we have the ideal minimally invasive prep guide, we have the motivational mockup, and we have the final composite veneer guide. And I'll show you how we did it one by one. So to begin the 3D process, I started with the ideal minimally invasive prep guide, as that would help me positioning the 3D teeth into where I want them to be located. So to start, you have to calibrate the STL, which is the intraoral scan, into the app and superimpose it on a frontal facial smile photo, a 12 o'clock photo, and a profile photo, as you guys can see it, with a goal of achieving a higher accuracy and harmony from every single angle. Then you go to the next step, which is still the calibration of the STL. So to determine the arch form, an occlusal curved line is placed on the edge of the buccal cusps of the posterior teeth and incisal edges of the incisors, with the goal of decreasing that axial inclination of the buccal segments, which would give a better harmony to the buccal corridor area. And if you're doing that on your own in your app, you will see that these green line, you can change it, you can move them like around. What we did was to, according to our clinical analysis, we noticed that we could shape that enamel in order to make it more harmonic with his smile. So now that the calibration is done, we go to the smile frame into the 3D project now. So the facial guided smile frame was designed by using the recurring static dental proportion, and the arch curve was based on the smile simulation approved by the patient. This was then converted to a 3D project for digital teeth mounting. In this step, you are able to see the project in 4 different views. So on the top left, there is the frontal view. The top right, you see the 12 o'clock view. The bottom left, you see the occlusal view. And the bottom right, you are able to move that STL into any direction. And as you see, once placed, the 3D teeth following the smile frame and the smile curve determined in the previous screen, we now see the 3D teeth intersect the original STL, which shows us exactly how much enamel we will prep to proceed with the minimally invasive preparation. The project was saved in the app's case management file of the patient, and it's done. Now, let's go to the motivational mockup. To motivational mockup, you don't have to start your project from scratch. So what do you do here? You open the preparation guide project to create the motivational mock-up, where the 3D teeth now were brought outward to cover the existing teeth, which is the existing original STL. To fine-tune the mock-up project, digital waxing was applied to improve the accuracy of the future smile. So what we used here was the simple tool on the right corner of the app where you can add or remove the digital waxing. And it's like a fun instrument that really saves you time. Once it's done, the motivational 3D project was then saved as a new case in the patient's management file. Let's go to the Composite Veneers guide. Again, you don't have to create the project from scratch. What you do here is to open the first project, which is the preparation guide. So here we opened again the 3D minimally invasive prep guide project. And as you can see now, in the DSDapp Sculpt tool screen, the original intraoral scan is now being modified to reduce on subtractive areas, which creates the final composite veneers guide. Once it was finished, it was saved in the patient's management file. So here is again a overview of the three 3D projects that were used in this case. So basically we created the first project with the ideal position where we wanted the teeth to be, which creates the minimally invasive prep guide. Then we used the same project and brought it outward to create a motivational mock-up, and then opened the first project again to create the final composite veneer guides. All the 3D Smile design cases were then exported from the app as an STL file and imported to a CAM software to 3D print the models. So an impression of the mock-up was done using addition silicone, and we called the patient. The mold was then filled with bisacryl resin and placed onto the patient's teeth where no adjustments on the mock-up was needed. When shown to the patient, he instantly made an emotional connection as he saw a natural smile that complemented his facial structure. And that's what we call in the DSD the wow factor. It's when you are engaging the patient with this new smile that he or she helped designing it. So to create 10 minimally invasive composite veneers going from the upper left second premolar to the upper right second premolar, the motivational mock-up was removed and a silicone index of the ideal minimally invasive prep guide was done using addition silicone. The mold was then filled with bisacryl resin and placed onto the patient's teeth with a goal of reducing the enamel in order to be as minimally invasive and precise during the preparation. So for this case, a depth cutter diamond burr was used to facilitate the exactly depth in order to accommodate the future restoration. Transparent index of the composite veneer guide models, I used a 2mm thermoforming dental tray. Then I isolated the teeth with tape. I separated teeth by odd and even. The non-isolated teeth were etched, washed, adhered, and light cured. Then I injected the flowable composite shade A1 in the inside buccal area of the transparent index, and it was placed onto the patient's teeth. With that, I applied some pressure onto the resin to make sure that the buccal anatomy that was generated in the app was copied directly onto the resin from the model and light cured with the index in place. The transparent index was taken out and the excess flesh was removed with a bladed instrument, while a final metal finishing strip was used to create space in the interproximal areas. The same procedure was conducted to the originally isolated teeth, and no adjustments were made on the buccal anatomy. It could sometimes be very time-consuming. So the occlusal bite and guidelines were checked to ensure that the final results were functional, harmonic, and aesthetic pleasing. So after doing all the checks, we did the finishing and polishing. We took the patient to the photo room once again, and here I'm going to show you guys the entire workflow. So here we have the initial photo, then the smile simulation, which was approved by the patient. We then transformed that smile simulation into a 3D design, and we also created the prep guides and composite veneer guides. We did the mock-up, and here's the final result. So the patient was very satisfied with the final result, as it was very affordable for him. He knew exactly how his smile would look like since his first visit. So this method of conducting a minimally invasive flowable composite veneer treatment is very cost effective, and it's a great solution that you can implement efficiently into your practice. And DSDapp really allows you to not only create smile simulations, but also 3D motivational mockups and treatment guides to give you a satisfying end result. And one of the greatest things is that you are now in control of the entire process, so you don't have to send it all to the lab if you don't want to. You can do it everything in-house. Now it's your chance to also become a Smile Designer certified with our online Smile Designer certification course. And just a heads up, if you are in the US, you also get 28 CE credits, but the course is open to doctors from all over the world. So how does that work? On Module 1, you will learn how to take the proper patient's digitalization. So you will learn how to take the pictures and videos from DSDapp and how to insert all of the patient's documentation into the app. You have to submit your homework, and in your homework, I will give you tips on how to perfect your patient digitalization. Then you go to Smile Simulation, Simple and Advanced, which is in the module 2, and you also submit your homework in the end of the week, and I will be also reviewing it for you and give you the feedback. Module 3, you learn how to do the 3D design, which is what you learned today in our case report. And in Module 4, you will learn how to present that case to the patient in order to get higher case acceptance rate. It is a very interesting course. In the end of the course, you also get a certification as a Smile Designer from DSDapp. So I'm placing here in the chat right now the link of our online Smile Design certification course. Please click here and sign up today. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to send us an email at support@digitalsmiledesignApp.com. You can also give us a call at +1 786 713 1168. Thank you very much once again, and for those who are starting your online Smile Design certification course, welcome to the family.